Hello, my name is Steve, the Affordable Life Coach. I've been doing this for 15 years, and you learn a lot about human nature, psychology, people in general. And I have been fooled. I'm not just talking about coaching, just in life in general, and in coaching at times with people that present an image of themselves that doesn't match reality, and we let down our guard and we get burned, we get fooled, we get deceived. And I just wanted to go over, I made a list of things, red flags to be aware of. It, Before we start, if you'd like affordable coaching and a complimentary consultation, email is in the description. And if you'd like to support this channel, it would mean the world to me, even if it's $1 a month. It's not even so much about the money. It's that people care and want to see videos like this. So I have been very surprised because even with people that you know for a long time, they can still fool you. And a lot of people, especially insecure people, narcissistic people, people that want to control, people that want to emotionally manipulate you, gaslight you, they will present an image of themselves as wise, all-knowing, highly skilled, competent, richer, more successful than they actually are, and that they're trustworthy. And all of this is to disarm you, to make you trust them more based on superficial or shallow metrics. And it's incredible how skilled they have become at it. And it's almost like they've taken on a persona and they believe the false image of themselves that they are trying to fool the world with, or fool others with. And it's they almost they have to. And that's why if you ever meet people that will just lie about little things or even big things, but just will perpetually lie, exaggerate, don't keep their word, tell white lies and think there's nothing wrong with it, they are they can be very dangerous. Or if they have certifications before their name, they have a doctorate, they have a master's, they belong to Mensa. It's like a group for high intelligence, high IQ people. And you're like, oh, this person's really smart. Or they have a lot of experience in a particular field in business or whatever it is. And you're like, man, this person knows what they're doing. Not so fast. We still need to keep our guard up. We need to still do our due diligence. And I have been to people that were supposed to be professionals in their field, and they were giving me advice or they were making recommendations. And I'm like, oh, they know what they're wearing, the white robe, the stethoscope. They know what they're doing. And then I've always had a critical eye towards authority, and I want to do my own research and own investigation. And so I do it, and then I'm like, what they're saying is not true. And obviously, this is so apparent in politics as well, is that we are being told things by supposed people that are experts in the field without realizing what the underlying incentive is. And a person's incentive doesn't only have to be money, although money is a big one. We really have to get skilled at reading between the lines. Like when I would follow some political influencers that seemed really knowledgeable or very, had millions of subscribers, were famous. I'm like, oh, they know what they're talking about. And to me, what happened 5 years ago just totally woke me up. That most people that you perceive to be intelligent are not. And it's a superficial, shallow intelligence. One of the For me, a high sign of intelligence is someone that is a critical, skeptical thinker. And we saw intelligent people 5 years ago completely let their guard down and just become sheep. And we see that on both sides of the political aisle, where people just do as they're told, believe what they're told, and don't question what the underlying motives are. And when you learn about like a lot of these people that you might follow online are being paid or have an agenda or have background people in the background that are actually pulling the strings. And it could even be they want, even if it's not a money factor that there is persuading them on what to say or motivating them on what to say or corrupting what they say. It could be, oh, I'm going to say things that are controversial. I'm going to say things that are going to get likes. I'm going to say things that the majority of my subscribers want to hear. There's no adherence to truth, to facts, to speaking with honesty and integrity and openness and transparency. And so we have to be very careful who we trust. And I've seen clients that I coach who've been in relationships and they later find out the person that they were dating or were married to was not who they presented themselves to be. And when we value ourselves, when we trust ourselves more, we are less likely to hand over our agency to another person, another entity, another political group, another medical association. We are doing our own thinking and we are taking the information in, but with a critical eye and doing our own, like I said, deep research or investigation. And there have been things like now everybody's using AI. I was using AI to do some work to fill out some paperwork and find out what I needed to do for the DMV, which is like the Department of Motor Vehicles. And I went there and I did all this AI research because it was a little bit of a complicated process and I wanted to figure out what I needed to do. And when I got there, they're like, "Oh, that information you got from AI is wrong. That's not, it's not this form. It's not these steps. These are not the procedures that you need to do." And I ended up wasting a lot of time because I wasn't prepared because I was getting misinformed. And it's just question everything. Be very skeptical and figure out what a person's motive or incentive is. If their incentive is to make a lot of money or just to be famous or to grow their YouTube channel or to sell you supplements or whatever it is, it's going or to have sponsors, it's going to influence what they say. And it's hard to find people that have not been compromised. And I have known people for a long time that have convinced me that they have expertise in business or they have expertise because they do a lot of online research in politics or in history or whatever it is. And so I let down my guard and I started to trust them. And the image people present to you is majority of time not who they actually are. Now, how I discovered the cracks in the facade that people were presenting to me is when there is adversity. When there is adversity, when they're being challenged, you get to see what they're made of. You get to see if they dig in their heels, if they're open to constructive feedback, if they are willing to look at their blind spots, if they're willing to admit no, they're not, they don't know as much as have the perception that they portray of themselves. That's, and even in relationships, when there is challenges and adversity, you really see the character of your partner or the person that you're with. That's why when I was young, such good advice is like before you marry someone, travel with them in like hardcore traveling where you're going to third world countries where things are really, really challenging. Like or to just do something else that's really uh, go camping with them for a week or two, where you could see how they handle adversity. And especially with social media, the internet, people present an image. It's not who they really are. Oftentimes, occasionally it is. And the word supermodel, the word genius, the word millionaire or billionaire, the word guru, the word super successful, an expert in his field. It's lost its cachet because it's thrown around so regularly. Even the words like racist or anti-Semite, it doesn't mean anything anymore. And everything has become so watered down, and it's easier to build up the image or the labels that people want us to believe about them than to see who they truly are. And it's oftentimes very hard to see who they are, especially if you don't know them. And so I look for little things. And like I said before, do they keep their word? How do they the biggest one for me, can they admit that they're wrong? How do they handle constructive criticism? How do they handle being called out? How do they handle um, just feedback in general? Are they open-minded? Are they a critical thinker? Are they receptive? And those are just very good indicators that you're probably dealing with somebody that has more integrity. Yeah, I just, even though with all my experience, and this is all I do, this is my full-time career, I still occasionally get fooled. And the important thing is when I get fooled, and the reason I get fooled is because I have not seen the relationship and the dynamic when that person is faced with adversity or when I challenge that person. And or when they are losing control. They're losing control of the image they're portraying themselves. They're losing control of they're like they were the puppet master and had people looking up to them believing they were one person and then really another. And so then you see the dark side come out. And it's such a wonderful, meaningful connection when you see all sides of the person, when you are able to challenge the person, when you see how they handle adversity, and most importantly, when you have real, deep, meaningful conversations with them, when you're open and honest and you have uncomfortable conversations with them, that's when you see a person's true character. And the another red flag is I will talk to some people and they're very overly critical. They're very controlling in the conversation. They'll correct you over minor things. They'll puff themselves up. That's another thing. Beware of anybody that is talking about how great they are. That is the biggest red flag. Show me, don't tell me. If you have to tell me, you probably can't show me. And so, and narcissists often do this, but not only narcissists. It's just like look at their actions, look at their results. And you might not like what you see when you see what's under the rock. And that's what I like to do is help my clients see their blind spots, be receptive in knowing my own blind spots and turning over those rocks in meaningful relationships or people that I trust or people that I let my guard down to see what's under the rock. And I was watching a YouTube channel, and this guy, he's like a snake expert, and he goes around and like looks for snakes. And man, what is under those some of those rocks is hiding a lot of snakes. And that's what I hope you take away from this video is you don't want to get bit. And when a person shows you who they are, believe them. And don't give yourself false hope that they're going to change. That's another mistake that I have made, especially as a coach. Like, oh, I could really help this person change. Just some people, most people actually, unless they're highly committed, are not going to change the core of who they are. And you just have to adapt and accept them as they are, or walk away from the relationship. And it's empowering because you become your own deep thinker. And if you have somebody that is also challenging you, like to have someone in your life, like whether it's a coach, whether it's a therapist, whether it's a really good friend, a family member that can really call you out on your own blind spots, on your own false perception that you're trying to convey to yourself. Um, because we don't want to, when we're inauthentic, we don't feel good about who we are. And then it leads to stress, anxiety, depression. It creates suffering. Yeah, so I made a list. Some of these I've already covered, so just bear with me as I read through this list of people that you got to keep your guard up. And it doesn't, just because they have one of these qualities or attributes, doesn't mean they're trustworthy, doesn't mean they're credible. So fame is a big one. It's incredible when someone is a famous influencer with a lot of likes and subscribers or followers. Like people will just let down their guard and trust them. Not all people, but just they give them more credit and clout than they deserve. People who have intelligence in one area, man, this is incredible. Like I have met people that have really good intelligence in one area, and like their social skills are completely like handicapped. Their social skills are so debilitated, or their ability to manage their money, or their ability to take care of their health. Like they might be really successful in business and powerful and a total people pleaser, to their partner. It's wild. Um, the doctorate is a big one, or a membership, or a certificate, or two letters, before their name. Still, like, think about it. There's people with doctorates that disagree amongst themselves. There are scientists that disagree amongst themselves. Just because someone is a scientist, and you should believe the science, doesn't mean that there are not other sciences that disagree with that person. So, like, just always be skeptical and trust your intuition, trust your instinct. Like, there's times when I've gotten my radar went off, like something's a little bit off about this person. I even feel it with people. I can feel it when I'm watching people online. I'm like, something's a little bit off with this person. And later I find out, oh, nah, I was right. Or don't trust that, and then I get burned or figure out later that I was completely wrong to not trust my instincts or intuition. It's a good indicator. I'm not saying it's 100% accurate because it depends on your level of experience. Um, oh, here's another one. And the perfect example of this one is Jordan Peterson. Something just, I would have clients that really enjoy, or people that I know that really like and enjoy Jordan Peterson. And he does have his moments where like he says something insightful. But whenever I listen to someone who makes simple concepts over, can't make concepts simple and explainable without being overly verbose and using academic, uh, complicated vocabulary, and like they're just over intellectualizing things. And that's another type of person, is like the person that over intellectualizes everything. Be skeptical. And like, why can't they say it in simple terms? Because they're portraying an image. I'm not saying this is always the case, but they're portraying an image of competency through the way they dialogue, the way they speak, their vocabulary. They're over complicating something because like, oh, I'm so smart, I understand this, and this is, and people will listen and like, that doesn't make any sense, but they won't question the speaker, they'll question themselves. Oh, like, oh, maybe I'm not smart enough to understand what's going on, or what he's saying or she's saying. Physical appearance is another one, that people who look very attractive, I mean, there's been all kinds of studies on this, we attribute them, it's the halo effect. Like they have a halo over their head. Actors get this, like, oh, this actor or actress is beautiful, I'm going to listen to his or her political views, or I'm going to listen to her, knowledge about whatever she or he is talking about. Or we meet people in person and we like, oh, they're so beautiful, they're so handsome, what they're saying must be true. And it's an unconscious thing. I'm not saying it always happens, but we tend to let down our guards with overly attractive people. Testimonials from other people, where you'll read a website and on the bottom it has, for a business, it has all these testimonials, or other people will give a testimonial. Oh, this person is so smart, this person is so wise, or this person is dot dot dot, whatever it is. And then you let down your guard. Or people will say, oh, this movie is so great, and it's really hyped up online, and you go and like, this movie was crap. Or you feel like, oh, something's wrong with me, I didn't enjoy this movie, or I didn't get this movie. So like, third party verification, validation, it helps, but still be skeptical. Like even with businesses, someone refers you, oh, this person, this landscaper, this handyman, this gardener, this electrician was, oh, they're so wonderful. Yeah, they might be wonderful 20% of the time, and that person got the 20% of the time, but you might have a bad experience with them. So just be, or they might try to rip you off. Um, Yeah, we talked about this one, but just be careful. The people that are self-promoters, whether it's about themselves, whether it's about a product, be very skeptical with those, because they're get good at telling you what you want to hear. Even authors of books. Like again, I've been doing this for a while, and like sometimes when I read a self-development book or a psychology book, and by someone that's like a really renowned author, I'm like, that's not true. That doesn't work. That's not effective. And just because someone is a famous author doesn't, it helps with the credibility somewhat, but it's really about the content. And then if you go through life like this, you become free because you are trusting your own instincts, you're doing your own research, you're developing your own wisdom. And even wisdom takes real real good self-reflection and self-assessment, which and being able to critique ourselves in a healthy way, which a lot of people don't do, because another trap people fall into is, oh, they're older, so they must be wiser, they must know a lot more than me. While that can be the case, oftentimes it's not true. I mean, there are people that just don't learn the lessons of life, don't do the deep inner work, don't do the self reflection. And it makes life exciting, it makes life adventurous, and it makes connections and communication meaningful, because it doesn't matter where. If I'm at the doctor's office, I am going to challenge, and it'll piss people off. I've had doctors that have been upset with me because I'm asking questions. I've had customer service, or I've had, it just recently happened. I was asking something and I knew that they were able to do it, and the person said, no, we can't do that. And I'm like, because they're so used to people just okay and being passive. And we don't want to walk through life passive. We want to walk through life courageous, bold, communicative, assertive, and not confrontational, but engaged. And it's such a treat, a rare treat, when you meet people that are willing to have that dance and have that type of interaction. Now, it's probably one or two people out of 10, maybe, yeah, 10% of the population might be like this. So don't give up hope when you have trouble meeting these types of people. But it makes conversation and it makes that connection exciting and very purposeful. And also, when you press people a little bit initially and then gradually, and press is the wrong word, when you challenge them, when you can have challenging conversations, you start to see the character of who they are. And then you create some adversity to test their character, to test their personality, to test their level of engagement, to test their ability to handle criticism, and their ability to self-reflect, and to address issues that are friction points in the relationship. Man, but some people will just not change. They are who they are, and they might also fool you in presenting the image that they are going to change. Like, that's one thing that is, narcissists are famous for, is that they will go to therapy to learn the language to further manipulate, just like take the manipulation on a higher level. So keep your guard up, protect yourself, and be a critical thinker with everything and everybody. And it doesn't mean we have to disbelieve everything, anything, anybody tells us, but we're skeptical and we build trust over time through actions, not image. If you'd like to support the channel, there's a PayPal link in the description. Please comment and subscribe if you'd like to see more videos. And if you like, again, ridiculously affordable coaching, um, hit me up. My email is in the description, and thanks for watching.